Okay, we're back downstairs. I'm standing in the kitchen right now, so just to orient you, that is the exterior door coming out of the kitchen. That door right there is the door to the basement. Behind it is the door to that bedroom that I said kind of, had the door from the kitchen and the little basement pass through. So we're gonna head down the stairs into the basement. There's not a lot of light down here, so I apologize, or not a lot of light fixtures. It may be a bit dark for portions of this. So just coming down, getting kind of a view. You can see significant water intrusion from our recent rains. So that tells me the house needs, definitely needs some kind of drainage solution, because we're talking about more than just damp walls or moisture evaporation. We're talking about active water. So just kind of getting you a view of the main room when we walk into the basement. Ceiling height is nice and high. I think I need to bring my laser measure through, but I'm guessing it's definitely above 7 feet, so potentially finishable space. But again, we have the challenges of significant moisture intrusion. Just getting you kind of better view of this over here in the corner. So we see the running water here, and then we see this kind of seeping at the edge in several other places throughout the basement. Looking at the concrete, this is pretty typical of the era of the house. It doesn't necessarily mean that the foundation is completely a mess. Everything we're seeing actually is pretty typical. So these basements weren't originally built to be waterproof, right? They were in the Pacific Northwest. They were just built as like root cellars, basically. And now that we like to use them as dry storage and finished space, we have to deal with drainage solutions and sometimes foundation repairs. So I can see, this is called the sill plate. That's that wood up there. Some pretty significant, what looks like, I would guess from the staining, long-term moisture intrusion. So, it kind of tells me this kind of concrete it's very typical for it to weep, for moisture to evaporate, and sometimes that's not a problem at all. It's just the basement functioning normally. Even this could be argued that this is the basement functioning normally. It's just not functioning the way that a lot of folks would like it to function right now if they want dry storage or they want to eventually finish space. So this typically involves, if it's a surface water issue, a French drain along the exterior of the house. If it's a water table issue, which coming up through the slab and at the edges makes me suspicious that it might be, then you're talking about some kind of drainage solution, interior, and a sump pump, coating and sealing the walls, that sort of thing. So people always want to know a ballpark on that kind of repair. On a basement of this size, gosh, my rough guess would be 30,000. It's hard to say. It goes by footprint and by exactly what they need to do. Here in this little back area, now we're behind the basement stairs, you can see the more moisture kind of seeping. Again, when it seeps like that between the floor and the wall, it often is a water table issue. So as the water table rises and then we get heavy rains, that water will come in. Could also be a surface water issue, could be seeping down the walls. If this is a house you wanted to be under contract on, I would definitely want my foundation drainage contractors to come take a look. So now these are the basement stairs that we are behind. And then go back through and just, the walls all kind of look very similar to that first wall I was showing you. Again, the concrete is really typical of the age of the house. And just because a house has moisture coming into the basement does not mean that it has to be written off as a structurally unsound house. Just means that at some point, if you want dry storage and or finishable space, then you're gonna need to do a significant drainage solution. And the reason I would want my contractors to come take a look, this is just a little storage closet here in the basement. I don't know how much light I can get in there. The reason I would want my contractors to come take a look, two reasons. One, to give us a number on getting a dry basement and putting a drainage solution in, and two, to look at the structural integrity of the foundation. Just make sure that the moisture that we're seeing is not indicative of any kind of structural issue. So I'm going to pause here and then go back upstairs.